Hey guys, Sickness here with another cinematic problem. And today I want to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about for a while now. Something I've really wanted to make a video on for probably ever since I started doing these videos. Something I've really want to talk about, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I have mentioned it a few times. I've mentioned my dislike about this a few times in some of my videos here and there. And it is something I've actually talked about a lot with people on different forums. And that is digital streaming and my issues with it and the fact that I'm against it and why I'm against it and how I see it as a threat to just movie collecting in general. Just not even from the aspect of somebody like me who has a huge collection, but just even your average collector, even just your average mom or kid who buys a few movies every year, and my issues with it and why I see it as a really bad idea. And what brought this on is just a few weeks ago I received an email from Disney talking about their Disney Movies online program and how it is going to cease to be. As of December 31st, anything you purchase through that program, you will no longer be able to stream. It just will not be available anymore. And that just proves my point. It's the fact that my VHS tapes, my Laserdiscs, my DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever format, will be around for a good long time. Yes, I know these things deteriorate and they're not gonna last forever. I get that, I know. But they'll be around as long as they last, as long as I take good care of them, as long as I have working machines, I take care of my machines, as long as I treat my collection with the respect that it deserves, it'll be around for a good long time. There's, Disney or whoever isn't going to come to my house and take these movies away from me. They're not going to say, well, we're discontinuing DVD, so we're taking all your DVDs away. It's not going to happen. I will always have these in my collection for as long as they last, which will be many, many years from now. With streaming, my issue and what I see the big problem being is the fact that in the future, Disney or Universal, MGM, whoever, Warner, probably Warner, whoever can stop you being able to see your movies. They can say, sorry, this digital streaming program we have is no longer available. Everything you bought, sorry, they're all gone. Tough luck. Just like what Disney just did. They can do that at any time they want. And I think a lot of us probably see digital streaming being the future. There's a good chance that physical media is a dying format. I mean, we all pretty much know that. It's going to be a dying format. A lot of people say Blu-ray is going to be the end of physical media. I like to think there's still going to be something after Blu-ray yet, and that'll probably be the last. I'm not quite sure what to see. But either way, a lot of people feel that streaming will eventually be how you watch movies. You want to watch a movie, you buy it online, and you stream it. Which, it has some merit. I like the idea behind it. It's a good idea to be able to have your entire library with you wherever you are. You go to your buddy's house, you log onto their computer or onto their TV, onto your account, and boom, there's your whole library. You can watch whatever you want. You go on vacation, you can watch it. You have your phone with you, your tablet with you, whatever you have. You can watch a movie anywhere in the world just by logging onto your account and you can stream it. A good idea in theory, and I don't mind streaming alongside physical media because, again, I like the idea of having your library wherever you go. I wish my entire library here I just had online. That'd be really cool, but I'd also want the physical media with it. I'd want to own this VHS tape or this on DVD, but also have it online. Like, they can coexist with each other. I see that as a good idea. But once you get rid of the physical media and you just have digital streaming only, that's where the problem comes. In the fact that, once again, like I said, it can just cease to be at any time. All those movies you bought, and especially for people like us who are collectors, if you buy hundreds of movies, you're the person who goes out on a Tuesday and buys, 5 movies, all the new movies that just came out. In years to come, you can no longer have them. I'll still have my DVDs, I'll still have my Blu-rays, I'll still have all my media, but anything I bought digitally will just be gone. And that is the main issue and why I see it as a horrible, horrible thing. I don't think people are looking enough into the future. A lot of people go, oh, streaming is the future and streaming will be around forever. It's not going to be around forever. As we all know, media comes and goes. We have VHS, then we had DVD, then we had Blu-ray, then we'll have something else. And there will be something after streaming. I guarantee you, streaming will be around for maybe 10 years, maybe more, and then something else will come along, whether it's just a new way of getting your movies, or whether it's some kind of new picture quality, or maybe they have, you know, holographic movies now or something. You know, something's going to come along where streaming will go away, you will not be able to have streaming anymore, and something else will come along and replace it. And sure, I'm sure the companies will leave the streaming program up for a while, maybe for 5 or 10 years you'll still be able to watch your movies, but eventually they're just going to say, sorry, this new media is taking off, this is what everybody's watching. You know, 75% of everybody who watches movies watches it through this new format, but nobody really watches streaming anymore, so streaming is gone, we're getting rid of the program. All those hundreds or thousands of dollars you spend on movies are just going to be gone. And I can prove stuff like this with things like, well, I mean, I guess another problem I would say is the fact that, you know, a lot of people say, well, these things can be backed up. You can have them backed up maybe on your hardware. And that's okay too, but here's how I'm going to say this. I talked to Nintendo. I've actually contacted Nintendo back in the day, back when I first bought my Wii system, because I was concerned about something, and that was anything I bought off the Nintendo channel, off their, I forget what their channel's called, I'm sorry, I haven't played my Wii system in a long time, but they have that channel where you can buy old, like, retro video games and download them onto a card, and you can play them, and you just play them on your Wii. Really cool in theory, but I got worried, what happens if, you know, that program is no longer available? Let's say, you know, 10 years from now, when the Wii is just completely gone, what's going to happen to these titles? And Nintendo contacted me and said, well, you have them backed up on a memory card, so you can use them anytime you want. To which I replied, well, yes, that's true, but only as long as that Wii system is working, because you can only use those games on that Wii system. You can't take those games and pop them in somebody else's system, you know, and transfer them, or I should say transfer them anyway. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So they said, well, you're kind of out of luck then. If your Wii system goes down, you know, in 20 years from now or something like that, your Wii system doesn't work anymore, you just don't have those games. They're gone. Sorry. You know, also have, you know, you can still have your Nintendo games and your Super Nintendo games and your N64 games. They'll all probably still be working. But anything you bought to download will not be available anymore unless you happen to just have your old Wii system and it's still in working condition. If you're lucky enough to have that, you know, 50 years from now, congratulations. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck. And it's things like that that just prove to me that this is a bad idea. This is not going to be a good idea. Streaming is just a horrible... well, it's a good idea in theory, and it's also a good idea along with physical media, but it's a bad and horrible idea just in of itself, just when everything becomes streaming only. It is just really going to be a huge hit on people. I don't think people realize that. Like I said, people are not looking enough into the future. They're not realizing that someday this program they use to stream movies might not be available someday, and you're going to be out of luck. Those movies will be gone. There's nothing that you can do about it. When you sign up for this, you know, streaming program, whatever, it's going to say right in there, you're going to have to click on, you know, the agree button. It's going to say that this might not be around forever, that one day this is all going to be gone, and you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to have a leg to stand on. You can't sue them. You can't yell at them. You can't demand your movies. You're going to be out of luck. And again, that's my big problem. Some other people have said that once streaming goes away and something else comes along, maybe there'll be some sort of backwards compatibility. Yes, maybe, but let's say once streaming goes away, something else comes along, and then something else comes along, will you still be able to watch those movies that you bought streaming? A lot of times the case is no. A lot of times, especially nowadays, backwards compatibility only goes one format ahead. Once you're 2 formats back, a lot of times you're, again, out of luck playing those, whether they're games, movies, whatever, on that system. You can't do that. So, you know, you got to look at the big picture. You got to worry about the fact that if you're going to have a big collection, if you're going to buy a lot of movies, you are a collector, you're going to start streaming a ton of movies, you're going to have a huge online library, save them some cloud somewhere through whatever program, you got to realize that one day there's a very, very, very good chance, whether it's 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 10 years from now, who knows, that those movies you bought, those TV shows you bought, those seasons, those shorts, those whatever you bought, will not be available. That is just how it's going to be. And that is my main downfall with streaming, and why I don't like it is because anybody who buys something, you're basically renting something for a long term. That's basically what I see streaming as being. It's basically long-term renting. It's not actually owning. I own these movies. If I start streaming it, I'm basically renting it for as long as the company I'm streaming it from allows me to rent it. You also have the issue, and some people have brought this up, of things like if they release something, let's for instance, let's talk about a recalled movie, Little Shop of Horrors. When they originally released that on DVD, it contains some footage, some footage that was not supposed to be contained on there, and they recalled it. They pulled it off the shelves, and if you're lucky enough to have one of those DVDs that go for a lot of money now, although I do think they are releasing that footage on a Blu-ray now or something, so those DVDs probably aren't worth as much. But for instance, if you're lucky enough to have one of those DVDs with all that bonus footage on it that got recalled, cool, you had that. If this was streaming and they released it, and then they pulled it, they're going to just give you a new copy. They're not going to say, well, that's your copy now. No, they're going to allow you to stream whatever the new video they're allowing you to stream. So you have that issue. Things aren't going to be collectible like that. You're not going to have, the collectability of things like that is going to be out of the window. It's a lot of stuff like that. I also question how many different companies will we be able to stream from. Is it going to be like, for instance, one company you stream from? You stream from, Sony or something like that, or some company we haven't even heard of. That's your main central streaming hub, and then for everybody in the world, and then that's how it all goes out. Are we going to have different companies? Sony, Toshiba, Warner Brothers, Universal, whoever. You stream from them. Maybe you stream individually from each movie company. Who knows? So even if maybe you get lucky with one company, you might not be lucky with another company. What if Universal or something like that goes completely out of business and they're just done? They're gone. Universal Studios no longer exists. Maybe the economy is just so shitty. They go under. Everything's gone. Their movies are gone. They don't make movies anymore. And now their streaming service is gone too. All your Universal movies are out the window. Yeah, that problem. Even if you're not streaming from a movie company, you're streaming from some other company who offers streaming. You buy your movies through some company. That company could go under someday. And these, again, are my issues. We also have the problem right now of streaming is not really practical since some people don't have high-speed internet. Right now, there's not enough, there's not enough, what do they call it? Like a bandwidth out there, I guess. There's not enough bandwidth out there to actually have streaming available to everybody. In the future, I'm sure we'll have, there'll be plenty enough bandwidth out there to let everybody stream. It's going to happen eventually someday, but right now, from what I hear, we're not even close to having enough to allow everybody to stream, to make streaming, the way of watching movies. So there's issues like that. So basically, my main and 100% issue with streaming is the fact that it ends any collectability whatsoever. You're basically just long-term renting. You'll be able to watch, again, your DVDs, Laserdiscs, Blu-rays, VHS tapes, you'll be able to watch them as long as they last, as long as you take care of them. Like I said, treat them with the proper respect that they deserve. They will last you a good long time. I'm sure a lot of my media here will last me until the day I die because I take care of it. I store it properly. I take care of my players. I'll always be able to find a VHS player or a DVD player, Blu-ray player. I'll always be able to find one of those at some pawn shop. No matter, 50 years from now, I'll still be able to get a hold of one. They'll be all over the place still. So, as long as I take care of my media, it's going to be around and it's going to last me a very long time. But streaming, doesn't matter how well you take care of your streaming, although I don't know what I even mean by that. Doesn't matter. Someday it will probably be gone. And this whole Disney thing kind of sort of puts a notch in my belt towards my argument against streaming and just how, well, hey, if you bought anything off this program, tough shit. Disney basically just said, oh, well, you paid for it, but now you don't have it anymore. Sorry, nothing you can do about it. And there you go. That is my issue. For anybody who bought anything off of that Disney Movies online program, you're out of luck. There's nothing you can do about it. You have no say in this whatsoever. If you bought a movie on there instead of buying a physical copy, well, now you got to go out and buy that physical copy because you just do not have anything online anymore. And like I said, that just sort of puts a notch in my belt towards my argument and just says, look, here is the problem with streaming. Here is what could eventually completely screw us over And this is what people need to start realizing. This is what people need to see. People need to start looking into the long-term effects of streaming and this becoming widespread and this becoming the new form of media. You know, physical media dies, everything goes streaming. You need to look into the future and realize that everything you buy could one day go away, and I would say most likely will eventually go away, and you'll be out. All that money, everything you bought will just be gone. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people out there, you know, like streaming, but again, keep that in mind that if you don't actually have a physical format, there's not actually a physical format out there, you're going to lose what you buy, and that's why I think they can coincide with each other. I think that's a good idea. You know, again, I like having a Blu-ray and also, you know, a digital copy that's out there in a cloud somewhere. That's kind of cool. I can still watch my movie anywhere I go without actually bringing my DVD or Blu-ray copy with me. I kind of like that, but I still like having my physical copy. So in 10, 20, 30 years from now, I can still pop my Blu-ray in and watch it anytime I want. So just keep that in mind. That's basically what I want to let you guys know, is just remember that. Always think way ahead. You know, for you collectors out there, think the future. Think about what's going to be. Don't think that streaming will be around forever. It's not. Streaming will someday go away, or there will be some issues within streaming that are going to ruin the collectability of movies. You won't be able to collect anymore. You'll just be, as I said, the term I've used before, long-term renting. So that's it, guys. That's all I really wanted to discuss. I'm sure you guys might have a lot of things you want to say as well. By all means, leave some comments. We can discuss this. I love discussing this topic. Like I said, I've discussed this with many people, many times, many different forums. Talked, you know, just hours about this with people. Very, very long conversations on forums about my thoughts on streaming. And some people are for it. A lot of people are against it. And I would love to discuss it with you guys. So if you have any concerns about it, if you have your thoughts on it, maybe you're for streaming, or you want to talk a little bit more about what I said, you know, definitely leave me a comment. We'll talk about it, and who knows, maybe even it'll warrant another video. Maybe you guys will have enough comments for me that I'll come back with something else, maybe answer your questions, or it'll bring up some more topics I want to talk about. So that's all I really wanted to say. Just, I'm very much against streaming. I think it's a bad idea just on its own. Again, it can coinciding streaming, fine. I can live with that. I kind of like the idea of a physical format and a digital format coinciding with each other, but to just make it go 100% digital streaming, I just think it's a really bad idea, and in the end, it's just going to screw us over. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Now I feel like complaining.